guys, welcome back to exmolex. Before we get started, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and if you're not already, follow me on my other social media. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and on TikTok I just recently reached 100,000 followers, which is pretty cool, so I'd love to see you over there as well. Now, I was never personally a missionary for the Mormon church. It was something I considered when I was younger, but it's not a requirement for young women the way it's a requirement for young men, and by the time that I was old enough to be a missionary, I was already married. But I'm related to many missionaries. I've spent a lot of time around missionaries. I've had missionaries over since leaving the church, and I'm married to a former missionary. And since making a YouTube channel that is centered around leaving the LDS church, I've obviously spoken to a lot of former missionaries. I gotta tell ya, missionary work is brutal. A lot of young people really suffer when they're on a mission, and I've done YouTube videos that are talking about missionary stories, so I highly recommend those. If you haven't checked them out, I will leave links in the description. Today though, I want to talk about missionary techniques. I was chatting with my husband the other day about this idea that I had to talk about missionary techniques on my channel, and he told me a few of the ones that he used, and I was kind of blown away. And that is because some of the things he told me just seemed so manipulative. So I asked on Twitter what other missionaries did to get their foot in the door with possible investigators and what techniques they used to try to convert people. So if you were ever a missionary, let me know if you used any of these, and if you were never a missionary, let me know if you were as surprised as I was about some of these things. And before we start, I just want you to notice a common theme with a lot of these strategies. They're a bit underhanded. Missionary work at its core is a sales pitch. Missionaries are going out to try to convert people to the gospel. Members will say that, oh, we just want to share the message of the gospel. But a lot of missionary work is about numbers. Missionaries have to keep track of how many people they're talking to, how many books of Mormon they're giving out, and how many baptisms they're getting. The point of going on a mission isn't just to share the message, it's to try to convert people. And if that's not how you start your conversation, you're not being perfectly honest. I'm sorry about my voice, by the way. It's kind of coming and going. I'm not feeling my best. It's not the Rona, it's just a cold, but sorry if it sounds weird. So to start off with, I want to tell you about the techniques that missionaries have used on me in the past 1 or 2 years. It shouldn't be a big surprise, but yes, I've had missionaries reach out to me, both with the full knowledge of who I am and also not having any idea who I am. Because of the pandemic, more and more missionaries are turning to the internet to try to convert people. And they're all basically doing the same thing, so I assume that the church is encouraging them to do it. Basically what they will do is they will join groups on Facebook that are centered around hobbies that the missionaries have. So I've seen them about knitting, about pets, photography, family history, gaming, whatever it is. I'm actually the admin of a local gamer group, and in the past 6 months or so, we've had dozens of missionaries join it. So after missionaries would get in the group, they would pick some random people to message out of the blue and just try to make light conversation with them about gaming. And then once they'd established a relationship and established, oh, we have gaming in common, then they would pitch the religion. It actually ended up happening so often, and people complained that we had to make it a rule that you can't preach to people in the group. So I'm in a few dog-themed groups on Facebook where people show pictures of their pets and stuff. And after I had commented on one of the posts, a missionary just messaged me out of the blue and was like, I love dogs. I have a Pomeranian at home. What kind of dog do you have? And obviously I could take one look at his photo and be like, that's a missionary. So I can share more of the conversation that he and I had if you guys are interested in a different video, but basically the gist of it was that he wanted to talk about something that was unrelated to the church so that he could build a relationship and then ask questions about the church. But finding common ground and building a relationship off of that is a common technique for missionaries, even if they're not doing it online. My husband told me that when he was a missionary, he and his companion would approach a house, and before even getting to the door, they would look at the house and try to notice things about it that they could then talk about when they got to the door. So if there are bikes in the yard, oh, they have kids, let's talk about kids. If there was a political sign, like, oh, let's talk politics. If there is a flower garden, okay, let's talk gardening. So when they would approach the door and knock, they would start off the conversation with something that they had in common rather than starting off talking about the Mormon church. Because obviously, if you're not talking about something religious, you're less likely to get a door slammed in your face. Another strategy they use is this very sneaky one. Instead of asking, would you like to hear a message about Jesus? Instead, just asking when they can share the message. That way, it's not a yes or no question, and it's not as easy for them to decline. So for example, we'll be in the area on Thursday from noon to 3 o'clock. When can we stop by and share a message? On Twitter, I saw a few people talking about how they would open with offering to bless the home with peace or for protection or whatever. I feel like at least this is a more honest way to begin. Like, at least you're being straight up about the religious aspect of it. Another one I've seen a lot on social media lately is offering to do service. Lawn mowing, snow shoveling, raking leaves, helping fix a car, anything like that. I've seen dozens of posts like this in my neighborhood and local Facebook groups recently that'll say something like, acts of service. We're available to help out anytime with anything you need for free, no strings attached. We just want to spread positivity in the world. Heart emoji. Honestly, love to see them doing service. It's great. It gets them out of the apartment. It's helping somebody. Those are all positive things. But many missionaries use service as a way to get their foot in the door. Once they've helped someone, they might feel obligated to listen to the message because they've just accepted a service from them and they feel like they should be polite in return. And again, this is the kind of thing where I feel like a lot of current faithful members would be like, oh no, we just want to help. There's no strings attached. But ex-members who feel like they can be more open about it will say, yeah, we did service in the hopes that they would listen to our message and then maybe they would be baptized. This next one is the one that bothers me the very most. My husband told me about it and a few people on Twitter brought it up as well. Leveraging people's families. So if the person has kids, immediately pitching the families can be together forever idea. Hey, you have a beautiful family. You love them, right? Don't you want to be with them forever? You can't say no to that or you're going to sound like a horrible person. This is one of the things that bothers me most about the church. It's not families are forever. It's families can be together forever. If you are baptized, if you go to the temple, if you follow the commandments, and if all of you participate. I've talked more in depth about this subject before. I'll leave a link in the description. Of course, we can't go through this video without mentioning flirt to convert. This is common both with full-time missionaries and also just with people, regular members of the church trying to convert people. Simply showing playful interest in someone of the same age, and of the opposite sex, obviously. Flirting, trying to get them interested in you, and then trying to get them baptized. And honestly, this one usually doesn't work too well as far as retention goes. The last one I want to mention is the one that the faithful Mormons will claim is the only real way to convert people. The Spirit. Okay, cool. So the Spirit is different for everyone. Mormons believe that they have the gift of the Holy Ghost, and the feeling that they get from this is what testifies of the truth of the gospel. Some people describe it as a burning in the bosom or feeling warm and fuzzy. Some people describe it as getting the chills. Some people just describe it as an overwhelming feeling of peace. Like I said, it's different for everyone and also impossible to quantify. But it's not too hard in the church to make people feel the Spirit. Getting emotional in a fast and testimony meeting is a surefire way to make people feel the Spirit. And that's a tactic that missionaries use. Bear their testimony as fervently as possible, get a little choked up, maybe even some tears. People's empathetic responses often get them doing the same thing. And from there, it's easy to convince them that what they're feeling is the Spirit. And most Mormons believe that. They're not purposely trying to be manipulative. They believe that really is the Spirit. So obviously when I'm telling the story, if a faithful member is watching, they're going to be going, no, nobody's doing that. It really is the Spirit. We're not faking it. And I believe them. I don't think they're trying to fake it for the most part. I think they really do believe that what is happening in that scenario is the Spirit testifying of the truth of the gospel. So let me know, if you were a missionary, did you use any of these techniques? And if you were a convert, were any of these techniques used on you? And if so, which ones? And if none of these things I said were techniques that you used, what did you do? Before we go, I have to say a huge thank you to my patrons. You guys are so amazing. Thank you for supporting my channel. And a special thank you to Anthony Guthrie at Keegar, Craig Call, Jake Nunyabiz, Melissa Jane, and the Exmo Candle Company for supporting at the Demon tier on my Patreon. You guys rock. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!